Hello everyone, I am Varun Gupta and you are watching Natural English. This is 14th capsule of verbal ability. In this capsule, we shall discuss some very interesting words, phrases, expressions, and these words and expressions will help you in your academic examinations, professional courses, competitive examinations, and if you want to be a journalist or a writer, then definitely these will enrich your English. So let's begin. The first natural English example is: once in a blue moon he scores a spectacular goal, but when it comes down to it, he is not what he is cracked up to be. Now this sentence is full of some very interesting phrases. Let's begin with the first expression, which is once in a blue moon. Once in a blue moon means something which is very rarely, not very common, not usually, very rarely done, then it is once in a blue moon. See the examples. The earthquakes hit once in a blue moon in this part of the earth. We never felt it. The earthquakes hit, they do hit, but very rarely in this part of the earth. In this area, earthquakes are not very common. We never felt it. They are so rare that we have never felt an earthquake. I think my grandson doesn't love me anymore. I believe that the son of my son is not having any love for me. He comes to see me only once in a blue moon. And why do I think so? I think so because he does not pay me a visit. He comes to see me only once in a blue moon. He comes to me very rarely, and therefore I believe he does not love me anymore. Let's proceed. The next phrase here is comes down to. Now please understand, when something comes down to, it basically means that it is the most important aspect of a situation or a problem. In the end, it all comes down to who wants the job the most. In the end, it all comes down to. So ultimately, this is all which is most important. What is that? Who wants the job the most? So the author here is willing to say that if you want the job the most, naturally you will prepare more, you will perform better, and ultimately you will get it. So in the end, it all comes down to your desire, the intensity of your desire. Next example is Walter Crowley says the problem comes down to money. Now this philosopher basically believed that the problems of life ultimately come to money. So in his opinion, money is the most important aspect of a situation or the most important problem. He is not what he is cracked up to be. Now when somebody is not what somebody is cracked up to be, it basically means he is not as good as people say that it is. People have got an opinion about something, but when you feel that this something or somebody is not as good as people normally say, then you will say he is not what he is cracked up to be. For example, if we compare the statistics of Sachin with his contemporaries, contemporary basically means players of his time. So when we compare the data, the records of Sachin Tendulkar with other contemporary players, it is clear that he is not what he is cracked up to be. He is not as great as people think he is. Because of media stories, we have got a larger than life image of Sachin. But if we compare his betting records with other contemporary players, we find out that no, he is not as great as he is cracked up to be. Honestly, the movie isn't what it's cracked up to be. Now here the speaker says that very frankly, the movie is not as good as it is believed to be. Maybe I am just not the right audience for it. Now here the author is becoming very polite. When I say I may not be the right audience, that basically means the movie may be great, but it is not great for audience like me. Some other type of people may enjoy it, but people like me may not enjoy it. Let's look at the complete sentence. Once in a blue moon, he scores a spectacular goal. Now definitely, when you talk of scoring a goal, we are talking about some football player or a hockey player. Once in a blue moon, very rarely he does score a spectacular goal. Spectacular, something which is special, worth seeing. he scores a goal which is worth seeing. But when it comes down to it, when situation demands him to perform, he is not what he is cracked up to be. He is not able to perform and make him team win. He is not as great as people believe him to be. In some very important situations, he may not perform, but rarely he scores a goal which is supposed to be watchable by everybody. Let's proceed. The second natural English sentence that we have taken for you today is, I'd be delighted to take your case on, but I've got such a lot on my plate at the moment, I'd never be able to fit it in. Now please understand that the first interesting phrase here is be delighted to. Be delighted to, be happy to, very happy because something good has been done. I'll be delighted to do this, I'll be happy because it is done. I was delighted to see my old friends again. I was definitely very happy and excited to see my old friends again because I was able to see my old friends again. I definitely became very happy. I would be delighted to tell you more about our work if you have the time. I would be delighted to tell you more about our work. I'll be very happy if I can tell you more about our work if you have the time. If you're not very busy, if you can spare some time, please stay with me and I will be very happy to tell you more about our work. The next phrase here, dear friends, is I've got such a lot on my plate. To have a lot on my plate basically means to be very busy, to have a lot of programs and schedules. I have got a lot on my plate this weekend. I don't think I can see you. Weekend basically means Saturday and Sunday. So during this weekend, I have got a lot of things to do and therefore I think I may not be able to see you. I will not be able to come to you this weekend. The internship offer was really good. Internship is basically a training when you are given the job to do, but the purpose is to make you learn. So this offer of internship was really good, but I had to refuse. In spite of it being good, I had to refuse. मुझे मना करना पड़ा because I have got a lot on my plate at the moment because I am really very busy at the moment. I have got a lot to do and therefore I had to refuse. I was forced to say no, I cannot join this internship. The next pattern is to fit it in. To fit something in, to have enough time to deal with somebody or something. To fit somebody in, to have enough time for somebody. He fits in his work around his family commitments. He fits in his work around his family commitments. He has got a lot of time to give to his family commitments, but he is able to adjust some time for his work also. Dr. Agrawal can fit you in this morning at 10. Dr. Agrawal is very busy, but he can definitely give you an appointment this morning at 10 o'clock. He can fit you in at 10 o'clock. So when some person can fit you in, he is able to give you some time. Let's look at the complete sentence. I would be delighted to take your case. I will be very happy if I can fight your case, if I become your advocate on. But I have got such a lot on my plate, but I am very busy at the moment presently. I would never be able to fit it in. So even if I take your case, I will not be able to spare time for your case and therefore please go to some other advocate. This is a very polite way to refuse somebody. I would be delighted to take you in my batch, but I have got such a lot on my plate at the moment, I will never be able to solve your doubts. Let's proceed. The third natural English usage today is, if you run short of ideas, you can always draw out the seminar with some witty stories, but don't bog the audience down with financial statistics. Now here somebody is giving an advice to some potential speaker. The first interesting phrase here is to run short of. When you run short of, it basically means that you have used almost all of a particular thing and there is not much left. To run short of, you don't have anything left. Supplies were running short as winter came on. When the cold season was approaching, we had less supplies. Our supplies were about to end. The party had just begun. party was just beginning. It had just begun recently, and we were already running short of soft drinks. And initially, people consumed so many soft drinks that we had a very limited supply of them. We were running short of soft drinks. Draw out. Now, when you are running out of ideas, you need something to maintain yourself in the race. To draw out means to make something continue longer than usual. When you draw out something, you are making it longer. This action could draw the dispute out for another 6 months. Now, it basically means some lawyer wants to just keep the issue pending. So, he is saying that this action, this court case, can draw the dispute out for another 6 months. We can continue it for 6 more months by this action. People with southern accents tend to draw out their vowels. If you have a southern accent, you basically extend your vowels, you speak them for a longer period. Okay. The next phrase here is bog the audience down. When you bog somebody down, you involve them in one thing so much so that they cannot progress or move ahead. To bog somebody down with something, to make somebody involved in something so that he may not proceed. You just can't bog him down with such petty issues. It's a very small issue, and with such small issues, that person cannot be bogged down. You cannot involve him and you cannot stop him from progressing. Pakistan could bog India down with Kashmir issue. Pakistan was able to make India involved in Kashmir issue for a very long time, but not anymore. After the removal of Section Article 370, now Kashmir has ceased to be an issue. Kashmiris have begun to realize that yes, our future will probably be better with a democratic country like India than a country ruled basically by military rulers like Pakistan. So they might now begin to believe that it will be better for them to stay in India. Okay, dear friends, let's look at the complete sentence. If you run short of ideas, you can always draw out the seminar with some witty stories. Now here, some experienced person is telling a new orator that if you run short of ideas, if suddenly your mind is not able to get some new ideas to speak, you can always draw out a seminar with some witty stories. Keep on telling them witty stories and you can continue, you can prolong the seminar, but don't bog the audience down with financial statistics. But the coach is advising the orator that you should not tell them a lot of financial statistics. People don't enjoy that. It will be like you are involving them in something so that they may not enjoy the remaining part, and it is not a good idea. So author says you can always tell them witty stories with a message, but you must not bore them with a lot of statistics. So thank you, dear friends. I invite your feedback and comments, your suggestions, and how do you want this series to continue next. Thank you so much. Enjoy. All the best.